We are live. Welcome back, folks. Football season is here. We are finally back, man. Football is here. UTSA versus Texas A&M this weekend. Season opener. Yo, I'm excited. I don't know what to do, yo. Like I've been waiting on this for a long time, as all of you all have been. I appreciate everybody who was here for the off-season videos and all that type of stuff. But now it's here, baby. We back. We back. Welcome to the live show. We're gonna break down UTSA versus Texas A&M. I'm gonna go through the offensive side of the ball, the defensive side of the ball, and in a few minutes, whenever people get here, I got a huge announcements for next week's episode. I think a lot of you guys and gals will be excited about. For those of you who are members of my Discord, you already got that news earlier this week after I got a couple confirmations, but I'll drop that for everybody here in a bit. But yes, super excited, man. We got a lot to talk about, so let's jump right into it. You know what? I had a quick scan of the comments already. We already have a lot. Uh-oh. Is the mic not on? I seen somebody say mic not on. Can folks hear me? I'm seeing the mics on, but can somebody give me a thumbs up if y'all can hear? Let's see. Yeah, I think I'm good. Okay, yeah. Somebody got me. Okay. Thank y'all. Anyway, all right. Yeah, let's get started. I had a quick scan at the questions, and they're all things that's going to allow me to touch on all the topics I was going to go over. So I'm just going to jump right into it, y'all. Let's do it. Ivan says, shout out to Ivan. He is the co-commish in the UTSA Champions League is what we call it in the fantasy league. So shout out to Ivan here. But Ivan says, which version of Justin Burke do we expect to see in week one? He started off very conservative the last 2 years, and it's hurt us. Here's to hear your thoughts. So just for those of you who don't know, Justin Burke is the offensive coordinator. So he's the play caller. And yeah, he'll be the head person responsible for the way our offense runs. First off, great question. Listen, I think that you got to come out and go for it. I think one of the things I've been talking about on the various shows I've done this week and last week, UTSA, y'all have heard me say it 1,000 times, but they are coming in and they are a team with a lot of continuity. And you got a lot of guys who was there last year. They're used to it. They're used to the offense. This should be the season we see Justin Burke's play calling, the way, the offense run a lot smoother than normal. If you think about it, 2 years ago, you already had him taking over the play calling 2 years ago with Frank Harris. He was kind of banged up in and out the lineup. That was his first time it was his first time calling plays for UTSA, right? So you kind of give him a pass for that. Then this last particular season, he had Owen McCown stepping into the fray, and he needed some time to get used to this sort of weapon, or these weapons that he has now, along with Owen McCown's development as well. But now you step into this season, you have the same weapons from last year, same quarterback from last year, and this should be a time for him to build on the foundation he sort of set. So to be fair to him, the offense has produced a ton of yards last season for UTSA, a ton of yards. So that's a good thing. Now, situationally is where I give a lot of my criticism is I think we do reverses too much as soon as we cross the 50-yard line. I don't know why that's a thing, but we always seem to do a trick play in a weird moment on a key down that just makes no sense. So yeah, listen, I hope that he does well. I hope that situationally he looks back at some of the games and says, you know what, I'm not gonna make this. I'm not gonna get too cute with my play calling, especially around the goal line and things like that. But I expect him to take a step forward. That's to answer your question directly. I expect him to take a step forward with what he has coming back. It'll be a shame if he doesn't. Because here's the thing: the offense is what's going to have to carry UTSA this season until the newcomers on defense get settled in and get used to playing with one another. But they're gonna have to rely on the offense, and um, you know Texas A&M is gonna be a good ball game to see where you are. Jason says, I don't want UTSA to take it easy or anything against Texas A&M, but I do want them at 100% to absolutely smack Texas State at the home opener. Thoughts? Yeah, so I do got a couple thoughts on this. I have heard from several people around the team that we are certainly going to see the twos play in every position. And that does mean quarterback also. I think we'll see Brandon Tennyson get some snaps from what I'm hearing, depending on how the game goes, right? Like I know what I have an idea of what the coaches are planning for. They're planning for every single scenario. But yeah, I think we're going to see a lot of guys. I think Coach Traylor understands how important that game against Texas State is that following week to open up in the dome, and how much just what that's going to do for fan interest throughout the season, and what that's going to do for UTSA's morale throughout the season. Look, I know a lot of people don't like this, but losing to A&M does not sink your season, does not mean season over, does not mean that UTSA is not going to compete for a conference title, does not signal how we're going to play throughout the rest of the year. Losing to Texas State would be a problem. It would be a huge problem in a multitude of ways. This isn't Texas State week, but relative to your question here, it is important that we get out of College Station with our health intact, because that's going to be important, man. We suffer a couple big injuries, and who knows what that'll mean for the rest of the season. So anyway, I'm hearing there's going to be heavy rotations and things like that throughout the game. You're going to see a lot of people play. But yeah, if the game is up being close, which you just never know. Like, listen, I know we're heavy underdogs. I think the spread is like 24.5 or something right now, and it's continuing to rise. But I expect UTSA's offense to score points, and I think it's just going to make the game interesting. That's the thing. What I don't expect is like, what did Texas do to us last year? What was it, 56-7 or something like that against UT last year? I think that was 56-7. That was the score. I don't expect a game like that. Eric says, what would need to happen in this game for you to feel good or feel worried about the season moving forward? If we just came and got blanked offensively, Texas A&M, although they have they have some great people on their defensive unit. They have a secondary who used to playing together. I think all of their DBs are back. They got some they got some studs up front also, so that's going to be a problem. But I think UTSA's offense, yes, it's an SEC defense, but like, our offense should score points, and I expect us to find the end zone a couple times at least. If we got what I'd be worried about if we got 56-7 again. Like, I would really be worried at that point, because it's like, yeah, I don't expect UTSA to go in and pull off a victory. I would love for them to, but I want to see competition. I want to see fight. I want to see competence. I think that's one of the biggest things that I'm looking for is, can we cut down on the turnovers? Or not turnovers, I'm sorry, the penalties. I don't want to see UTSA get penalized 10 plus times in this game. And trust me, those of you who remember from last season, that was kind of the normal thing every single game last season. That was a theme, was penalties. I don't want to see that, right? Because to me, if we do come out the gate seeing something like that, that means something didn't work in the offseason, and these guys still aren't disciplined. And I don't expect that to happen. So I expect UTSA to put up a fight. I expect, listen, A&M is good. I know they have a number beside their name or whatever like that. But it does not mean that they should just run over a really top G5 team like UTSA. We should at least make it interesting and make it seem like we belong. Eric says, what position group or players should we keep an eye out for on UTSA? I'm gonna tell you. So, okay, I am going to go kind of like I'm gonna give you two answers here. The position group I am most interested to see is the secondary. It's a new secondary. The corners, we got new starters at that position. And yeah, I just want to see how they work together. They are the biggest question mark coming into this season. I'm a DB myself, or I was a DB myself. So I look at the game with that lens. You kind of got to know everything that's going on. So I want to see how they read the game, how they make plays. Are they going to be aggressive? A&M has not had great receivers for a while. You know, I mean, they got some talent at the receiver position that they got out of the transfer portal. But I want to see how they fare up against those guys. So that's a team. That's a position group defensively that I just got my eye on, and I want to see how they perform and can they rise to the occasion. On the offensive side of the ball, I have real thoughts, and not concerned, but I need to see. So here's the thing for the receivers, right? I look at a Devin McEwen and I look at a David Amador, and I know those guys are going to eat underneath, right? I mean, you look at the numbers on them. Devin McEwen is a first down merchant. He caught 24 passes last year for first downs. They look for him on third down. They like him in the underneath routes and things like that. David Amador, similar type situation, not as much on third down, but he's a screen guy that like to get him the ball in space. Here's the thing at the receiver position and why I'm watching for them. We don't have, I looked at that depth chart. We don't have a ton of size at that position. We're playing SEC competition. So that's just already kind of a, I don't want to say red flag, but it's just something I'm concerned about. Also, our deep threat, and I'm just going to be completely honest here, our deep threat and our downfield guy has been Willie McCoy. And this is not me calling the kid out or anything like that. I'm just calling a spade when you just look at the numbers. He had 11 drops last season, which is by far the most on the team. He accounted for, I don't even want to get deeper into those stats, but he had 11 drops. So to me, I want to see what's that rotation going to be like. You know, we got AJ Wilson, which I thought was really good from he came from Houston. It's not HBU anymore. What is it? ACU, I think. Anyway, I want to see what he can do. I want to see what is our downfield presence going to be. Whenever we do a play action pass, you know, and we're trying to stretch the ball down the field, do we have that speedster? Do we have a speedster or a big physical guy that's going to actually give secondaries problems, right? Because I think about even last year, another deep threat we had was Chris Carpenter. He wasn't like a big physical guy, but he was a super fast dude that could get behind the secondary. Do we have that? I don't know if we do. That's why the receivers I'm going to be watching quite a bit. Like I said, I'm not worried about McEwen and Amador at all, and I'm not worried about the tight ends. But can we stretch the field? Can we? Because if not, secondaries are going to cheat down, and they're going to quickly trigger on the RPO stuff that we like to do. They're going to quickly trigger on the run game, you know. So it's just one of those things, man. We gotta make sure, you know, that we're prepared on the outside, because that's just one of my biggest concerns coming into the season on the offense. I think offensively we should be fine, but do we got a downfield threat at receiver? Because I remember back to Coach Traylor saying, like, yo, we're going to stretch the field a lot more this year. We've been doing a lot of it in the spring. Okay, who though? Or we just, you know, who's going to actually be a threat? That's kind of what I'm looking for. Oh, shout out to my man Nick here. Yes. By the way, now that the season is back, guys, there's going to be a lot more comments and things like that. So be sure to drop your super chats. Super chats get you priority. Got to say shout out to Nick. Nick, my old partner. Shout out to my man Darian. You the best in the industry. My hot take is second half of the season was a trailer-led offense, not Burke. I also believe having Amador and McEwen to start the season is huge. Yeah, I mean, maybe so. Whatever it was, something in the second half definitely shifted last season. So yeah, I don't think you're wrong at all about that. And yeah, I think having Amador and McEwen healthy to start the season is going to be just a game changer, because now, you know, those guys are going to warrant some attention. If we can keep them healthy on the field at the same time, those guys are going to warrant some attention. I just hope that we have people outside of them that can really get downfield, that can open up opportunity for them underneath. That's really one of the big things I'm looking for. Thanks for the super chat though, my guy. Like huge. Like I said, guys, any priority or you want to just help a brother out for doing all this stuff, hit that super chat, leave a comment, and we'll rock there. Now that we're at about the 15-minute mark. I did want to give a huge announcement. A lot of folks have been asking for this. A lot of folks have been asking for this. So here's sort of the big announcement. I did book Lisa Campos to come on the show next week. And yeah, she'll be Texas State week. Lisa Campos will be on the show at 6:00. So she'll be on the show at the very beginning of the show. And I think I may have it for about 20, 30 minutes or so. So yeah, there's going to be a lot of questions. I'm going to tell y'all right now, super chats and stuff are going to be super important when that happens, because I have a series of questions that I want to ask, and there's a couple things I want to talk to her about. One of the big things is there's just a lot of people come to me with a lot of the issues that surround the UTSA and how to push them forward and marketing and all these types of things. And I have generally stayed away from like wanting to have people on, because my main thing is if I have someone on, I got to be able to talk to them in a normal way and have a conversation. And yeah, she's agreed to do that, and I'm excited about it. So my biggest reason for doing that is I want to connect the community directly to her. So, because a lot of people, I see a lot of you guys in my chat will at her with things and on X and things like that, and mention her in certain things. Well, she will be on the show. We'll be doing the show just like normal. It'll be live just like this. So I'm excited about that and excited about having her on. So yeah, it's going to be a fun one next week. So yeah, that's sort of my big announcement there. All right, let's get back to the questions. Let's see, where are we at here? Okay, Eric, can you predict Owen's stat line at QB this Saturday? I mean, it's hard to say. Like, the first game is just a crapshoot. But I'll say this. I will give this part. I say Owen throws 2 touchdowns, no interceptions. Max says, yo, what's up, Darian? Been a while since I've been able to catch one of your lives. What are your opinions about the offensive line and the cornerback starters for week 1? Bit nervous about our secondary. Yeah, so offensive line, listen, I think, like I said, we got some experience on the offensive line. We got some guys that are returning that are really good, that's expected to be really good this season. We got some guys who transferred in and with some experience. So, listen, I think the offensive line is going to just take them a minute to gel. They got a tough task ahead of them this weekend, but we'll see. I expect them to get off to a better start this season than last season. Last year, the way the offensive line started, it was woeful, but this year I expect them to do a lot better. So that's the one thing. And just for the cornerbacks, I just want to see their personality, man. I want to see them go out there, play with confidence and express themselves. And don't back down from the big name. Like, here's the thing. UTSA can always make a splash. UTSA can always shock people. We haven't shocked someone on the stage quite like this. And I would love for this weekend to be the first time we do it. Max says, were you able to catch that we got the new sponsorship with the Mexican company Jumex? How do you say that? Yeah, yes, I've caught it for sure. First to do so among American universities. Yeah, I think that's a big deal, man. I think that's a big deal, and it's one of the things I'm going to ask Campos about whenever she comes on here. And I also want to know, like, is this something that Playfly? I wonder if Playfly had a lot to do with that partnership. Did they go and get that? That would be something good to know, right? One thing that I always notice about UTSA's partnerships, and let me know if I've missed this, so y'all keep me honest on this one. When UTSA has these partnerships or announce these partnerships or sponsorship deals or whatever it is with these companies, have you noticed we never we never get any updates on how much the deal is worth. It's funny that like I see other schools around the country whenever they have a big deal, they talk about how much money that they're getting from the deal. Like the FedEx stuff, we've all seen that. We've all seen some of the stuff in Middle Tennessee that we talked about last year. I'd be curious to know like what that dollar amount is. A&M will win, but the runners cover. So much disrespect for UTSA by the odds maker and the media. I wonder if this has to do with last year's showing against UT. Yeah, it definitely probably does. I've done some shows. I've done some shows with Fanatics View. I was on the Technical Files podcast yesterday. I was on Andy Everett's show last week, and a couple more shows previewing this game. And honestly, and I now they could have been doing this because I'm on the show and they don't want to be disrespectful to my face of UTSA. But I think people are respecting UTSA and Coach Traylor. A lot of folks seem to have respect for Coach Traylor, Owen McCown, the offense in general, and just what UTSA has built over the last 6 years, right? So no one's picking UTSA to win, but no one, at least to me, has had the perception that UTSA was just going to go on and be a doormat and get walked on. So, but that's what's going to happen, right? We're an American Conference team. They are an SEC team, which is the best conference in college football. And they have boatloads of money. You know, that roster is, you know, there's a couple guys on that roster that probably make up all the compensation our players get combined. So, you know, that's how the cookie's going to crumble sometimes. Mike says, haven't heard much about special teams, worried about our kicker game. Me too. I haven't heard much either. It's not something that folks ask a lot about. But yeah, we'll see. We'll see. Hope it's good though. Will Henderson, almost that time was good. You know what? I'm glad you made a comment here. I'm excited to see your son, man. I appreciate you for coming on to the show. And I'm not just saying that. I think one of the things that I talked about last season was I think somebody asked me this in the offseason too about the running backs in general and who did I expect to get time at running back. Obviously, Robert Henry is one, and we had a lot of guys depart, right? But that running back room looks a lot different outside of Robert Henry. But the one thing that I said is Will Henderson Jr. has too much speed to not be involved in the offense in some way. And I think so my thing was like, if anything, he's going to be a gadget guy because if you got speed like that, you just got to get that dude a lane and it's blouses. So seeing that he's the number 2 back 100% means we're going to see him this weekend. So I'm excited to see what he does, man. I think he's somebody speaking of special teams, I expect him to be someone on the special teams that's going to make some noise this year. If they block well for him, nobody's catching that guy. So yeah, I'm excited. I'm excited to see him strut his stuff, man. I wish him good health. Mike says, I just want to see sound disciplined football by the runners. The pre-snap penalties killed us. Dude, all the penalties killed us last year. If you guys hadn't had a chance to look at my pathways to victory for UTSA, I wrote an article on this that you can find on my X account if you just scroll over the articles. Yeah, I think one of the key things that I put in my article, I think the key number 3 was being disciplined and not turning the ball over, but also not the pre-snap penalties, not the sloppiness, you know, with face mask and people getting up, letting their emotions get the best of them. And we had so many late hit fouls and stuff like that last year. Come on, bro. So we can't do those types of things anymore. Those, you know, against a team like A&M, that type of thing will just get you embarrassed. We're already fighting an uphill battle, so that would be a problem if those things start to come. But listen, speaking of pathways to victory, let me know in the comments what you think our paths to victory are. But here are mine. Number 1, I think Owen McCown has to play well. He has to consistently make good decisions. he has to consistently take what the defense gives him, not get impatient. That goes for the coordinator also, the play caller. Don't get impatient because you're dinking and dumping up the field and you just want to take a shot to take a shot. Take what the defense gives you. And if that might mean you don't have a great drive this time, you got to punt. But it's not that I want us to be conservative, but I want us to, you know, just be smart, man. Like don't do their job for them, which I feel like UTSA got themselves into a lot of bad situations last year because we were undisciplined, getting just terrible penalties at the worst times, and then sometimes the play calling aided to us putting ourselves in a bad situation because we did a freaking reverse on a 2nd and 7 or something, and now it's it doesn't work, and we're at a 3rd and 14. So we just got to be disciplined. That's one of the big things that I'm really keen on. I think the way Coach Traylor manages the game, the way our selection of like when we want to go up tempo versus when we want to have long sustaining drives to keep their offense off the field. That's going to be a big one. Also, one of my biggest keys too is we have to turn Marcel Reed, which is the A&M quarterback, into a passer, which he is a passer because he's a quarterback, obviously. But what he can do with his legs is what makes him dynamic. The hardest thing we're going to have to deal with A&M this weekend is the run game. From the quarterback, of course, because he can extend plays and do things with his legs. But they have a stable of running backs that are good, and they have an offensive line that's all returning. So we got to force them to throw the ball. We got to do our best to get them in 3rd and long situations that'll make them have to drop back, and then see where we are then. But I think those are some of my paths to victory for UTSA. Eric says, "Are you doing the same as last year with live instant reactions post game, or wait for analysis the following day?" I like to do them live. I like to do them live. I like to do them live. I'm gonna do them live. So I'll be live directly after the game. Well, actually, we'll see because some of them are super late. You know what? Yeah, I'm gonna do them live this year. To the extent that the games that I travel to, I would do them next day, but the games that I am at home for, I'll do a live show right afterwards. Okay, yeah, this is the guy who got me, Donovan. You got me, bro. I thought that my mic was off, so everybody was. Thankfully, everybody was getting me right. Shout out to JC here. He says, "What a great experience for UTSA football." Yeah, it's gonna be a fun one, man. I'm looking forward to it. Oh, I see Angela, and it reminds me, guys, if you are new here and if you like the content, I got a graphic now. Make sure you like and subscribe to the channel. Like and subscribe to the channel. Like the video and subscribe to the channel, to be exact. But yeah. Shout out to Angela. Shout out to my man Poghost. Seth says, "I think our passing game would do a good job against their defense." I think so as well. Yeah, I think our passing game would do fine. But well, here's the thing. I think it'll do fine early, but if we aren't able to stretch the field and provide a threat downfield and take downfield shots, it'll be problematic if we try to dink and dump and hit the tight ends over the middle every single time. I think it's a bit of a worry. What do you think the score will be? I will give you guys the score at the end of the show. My score prediction. I got you, brother or sister. Jacob says UTSA defense looks really good inside per usual. Gonna make everyone think twice on the inside or take chances over the top. Listen, we got some returning players that are good up front on the defense, but they got to play together in jail, man. A lot of those guys are new starters, so I don't know if they look good yet. We just have to wait and see. They definitely got some names, some guys that we have high expectations for, but they got to put it together. That's going to be the biggest piece. So yeah, we'll see. We'll see what they do, man. Hello, this runner says, would you start the game going all out to stop the run, load the box, would you assign a spot? Yes. Yeah. I'm selling out to stop the run. Like, just looking at this game, I'm selling out to stop the run. That's what UTSA has to do. That's ultimately what you're looking at. A&M, um, they can do some damage to UTSA on the run game. And like I said, make Marcel Reed prove that he's a passer. What they've said about him all offseason is, oh, he's looking better. He's looking good. He's he's put it all together now from a passing standpoint. Okay, prove it. Prove it. We got to go in there and dare him and see if he'll prove it. My expectation for UTSA is to, like, bro, go out here and just start swinging, like, straight up. No joke. Go out there and try to put foot on next. That's all you can do in these situations. Whenever it's an uphill battle like this, to me, this is not the same. It's not the same situation as last season, and UTSA is at a different level now than what we've been like way in the past, where these games were essentially, automatic blowouts. Although you can say, you look at what happened at UT last year, it was a little bit of a different situation. But now I'm just like, why can't we come out and punch these people in the mouth, bro? Why can't we come out and, like I said, force this quarterback to prove that he can throw the ball and carve up the defense with his arm? Can he carve up the defense with his arm? I don't know about that. But you know what? I will go in. I would start the game, and that would be my position. Cool. You can. I'm gonna let you have a shot at our secondary. Can you deliver accurate passes consistently? Or can UTSA's secondary be opportunistic and make plays over those receivers who still have to prove themselves in a A&M uniform? That's how I'm approaching it. JC says 108,000 at Kyle Field. Welcome to UTSA. Make sure to watch the band at halftime. Okay. That's a big crowd. It's a big crowd. But a lot of people say the stadium sucks. So yeah. Mr. Meep says we held strong to the third quarter versus UT not too long ago. I bet we can make it at least a close game with the Aggies to the 4. Listen, the first half is going to be uber important. We got to keep the game close there and then go for it in the second half. But to me, like, I want us to have some pride about ourselves, right? Like, I'm going to be honest with you. Like, I went on all these shows and the dismissiveness bothers me. The dismissiveness of UTSA bothers me. And I get it. It's a David and Goliath situation. I completely get that. But to me, we are UTSA. That should be the motto. And excuse me. Yeah, we are UTSA. That should be the motto. We don't back down from nobody. We're going to come out swinging. Like, I think if we go in with the right mindset, we'll perform well. But I want to compete, bro. I don't want to lay down. We don't need to be in a position to lay down. I think if we do go into this game and we compete well, regardless of the scoreboard, that's going to bleed into the next game. And the next game, this is a big one, but the next game is the big one as well. I want to put fear into Texas State this week. I know a lot of people online say, what they say. We don't worry about Texas State. I'm sure it's Rab is going to come in here and say, I'm giving him too much attention. I don't care. I know how much that game is going to mean for the rest of the season. This one's a big one too. But could you, like a lot of you guys have said in this very chat, what happens if we come out and shock the world and beat these guys? Just imagine what the season will be like if we did that. We got to try to do that. And that means we got to be competent. We got to be confident as well. And we got to try to take it to them. Anything less is a joke. So I just want to see the guys come out with pride, bro. Wear that blue and orange with pride. That's the thing. It's a new era. The Nike era is here. Like, come out there with some pride and represent. UTSA better air that ball out. Wrecking Crew D won't allow the run. We'll see. We'll see. The Aggie band put Sosa to shame. Leave Sosa alone. A lot of people talk about leave him alone. Oh snap, Lisa. Yeah. She'll be here next week, man. For those of you who may have came in late, Lisa Campos will be joining the show next week. We'll have an opportunity to talk to her, have her in the chat, and things like that. So make sure you guys are subscribed to the channel and set that notification bell. I'm gonna be prepped for that one pretty early. So yeah. Browntown says, what position group should A&M watch for? The tight ends. I know A&M has not been great against tight ends, and I think UTSA has some of the best. It's not even like, I think we just have like a really, really great tight end group. And because of how much they mean to our offense, it's essentially our quarterback's favorite target from a touchdown standpoint. Our quarterback, he throws the ball the best in the middle of the field, in the middle of the hashes, under 20 yards. So if you look at the advanced analytics of Owen McCown, he actually throws right really well. He doesn't throw left. Throwing left for him is actually where his percentages dip just a little bit, but throwing short and intermediate in the middle, he's excellent. And guess who's catching a lot of those passes? The tight ends. He's not especially great throwing deep middle because that's where he gets into trouble and he throws in. That's where most of his interceptions came. But the tight ends, I think, can be a game breaker for UTSA because those guys, find the pockets in the zones really, really well. Those guys can make tough catches at the highest point, and it's where our quarterback likes to target. Likes to target his guys at. So yeah. Mr. Meep says, I hope we can run the ball well this year. It's weird calling the Roadrunners, being called the Roadrunners and not being able to get the run game going. Thoughts on our running back room? Listen, I'll go back to some of the things I said earlier this year, man. I think the running back room is going to be very interesting. Obviously, with Robert Henry is going to be coming back. He's a good player. Obviously, we're going to get to see Will Henderson. So, like I posed a question, like, we got a fast running back room, bro. Like, there may be two running backs in the country that are like 1-2 punches in the country. And I know Peterson is there as well, but I'm just thinking about the first two with Will Henderson and Robert Henry Jr. It's like, that's a fast tandem there. What I do worry about though is who's going to be the guy that's going to be the bruiser for short yardage. Because Will Henderson's not, he's still young. He doesn't have the weight for that type of thing. Who's going to be like the big guy? That's kind of what I'm looking for. I mean, it could be Peterson. I mean, he's a big kid from what I understand. So he might be that sort of bruising back. But yeah, I'm excited about our running back room. Honestly, I really am. I like this because here's the thing. We got home run hitters. So if they get a lane, they ain't getting caught. That's the thing. They ain't catching these guys if they get caught, if they get rolling. So yeah, I think there's reason for excitement there. And I hopefully our offensive line is better this season and they create some lane for these guys. But I think the running backs are gonna be fine. Eric says, you mentioned potentially seeing the twos. What scenarios in the game have you heard in which we make mass subs? I haven't heard about scenarios, but in particular, but I mean, you can kind of like if we're getting blown out, our twos are going to come in. They're going to. I mean, that's just the reality, right? If the game doesn't look great, and it's not competitive, you're going to see our twos sooner than later. And that's kind of, I don't think it's going to be a situation where here's the thing. Some of these positions are just fluid, by the way. So you'll see twos or you'll just see heavy rotations throughout the game. But like, I don't know if we're just gonna see like, okay, we're gonna shift this entire offense off and bring a whole new one on. That probably wouldn't happen. It wouldn't happen until like we're getting blown out or something like that. Which I'm hoping it does not happen. I'll say that. The path to victory is not to dig yourself into a huge deficit. That means keep penalties and turnover to a minimum, keep it close, and try to pull out a miracle at the end. Absolutely. Absolutely. But you know what? I don't want to say miracle because yes, it'll be a major upset, but I don't want to say miracle because um I don't look at it like that. Like bro, A&M is listen, for I know it's SEC. I know they were all right on the Elko last year. They have high expectations for themselves this year. But bro, A&M is a team. You think about the Appalachian State game with them. Like, bro, they are due for something like being upset, like by a team like a UTSA. Not saying it's like probable or anything, but like they're due for something like that. So yeah. Frank says, "Hey, I don't think anyone congratulated Darian's last live, but congrats for the new gig. Hope you still do these lives." Oh yeah, absolutely, bro. Yeah, and he's talking about. I'm assuming you're talking about the sporting news thing. Working with them. Yeah, I mean, listen, they've been great. I got autonomy to like you. When I used to do this stuff with these publications, um, a while back, I actually didn't. I actually had to send everything to an editor, and then they would edit it, and then they publish it. But um I have publisher permissions, so I have full autonomy on how much I do when I post. Posting it. I don't have to send things to an editor, so it's been sweet. The live streams will not go away. I'm could none of my UTSA content will budge. Everything else I'm doing is just extra. But I'm also one of the things I'm happy about with the sport news is I get to cover UTSA on their platform. So for those of you who have Apple News and like all these things, you're going to see all the content there. It ranks really really well on Google. So if you like Google something like a UTSA versus A&M preview, my article actually ranks really really well on those. So yeah, man, it's a really cool opportunity and thanks for the love on that. Kevin Lee says, we can't afford to waste opportunities on missed field goals. Big mental downer. And when you come up empty on great offensive drives, yeah, when you come up in, yeah, absolutely. That's a really good point. That's why someone mentioned earlier about the special teams. Like, we got to be sharp. And that's the thing about that was disappointing last season was UTSA was just making like uncharacteristic mistakes game in and game out and something that you just didn't expect from a Coach Traylor led team. So I'm hoping that we clean that up this season and we're just a lot more efficient in how we operate. I think that's going to be super important is how efficient can UTSA be? The most efficient teams and the teams that don't beat themselves are the teams that become champions. And if UTSA cannot do that, it'll be a tough season. So just because this team is an SEC school, that does not mean that we don't have to be disciplined. Some things may not work, right? We may lose, a possession here or there because they may just been better than us, but that does not mean that we become undisciplined. So I'm going to be definitely watching out for a lot of that stuff this season. Frank says, man, who else is excited to get some Jumex drinks for the tailgate? Shout out to them for sponsoring us. Yeah, shout out to them, man. We need more and more of these things to happen for us. Pops is in here. We got to go in thinking upset. The players and every UTSA fan. Absolutely, man. It's like, well, here's the thing. I don't want to be. I understand that it's a tall order for UTSA. But at the same time, it's game week. The players and the supporters at some point, like I'm up here doing a job kind of, but at the end of the day, I'm going to turn fan the second Saturday comes. So that's where my head's going to be at. Like, let's find a way to win it, So yeah. Mr. Meep says, I feel like Owen is going to come out swinging and throw like 5 TDs. Knowing, listen, if he doing something like that, if he do something like that, it's going to be crazy. It's going to be crazy if something like that pops. It's going to be crazy. It's going to be crazy. I hope so. I would love that to happen. Texas State has some big momentum with the game last year and a move to the diminished pack. Got to pump the brakes on that September 6th. Okay. I mean, do they have big momentum? They're ushering in a new quarterback. Like, I think their quarterback play last year was a large reason as to why they were in that situation. And they had a good season, and he's not there anymore. So you brought in a couple guys from some notable programs. They weren't able to beat the guy that you already had there at Texas State. Look, I mean, they can have all the momentum, but like I said, this year is going to be a lot different. We came in with a quarterback. We were still in a quarterback battle at that particular point in time. That's what I mean. We'll see. We'll see when that games get here. Okay, here we go. The Texas State folks are here. This guy, Ulysses Gonzalez, is always crashing out in my comments after videos for whatever reason. I know you're a Texas State fan, but like, I've been talking really well about Texas State fans because they've been really nice, even though we disagree. I've had a lot of like conversations with them over this offseason. But this guy here is something else. Texas State is going to eat road chicken again at our second home stadium. Okay, sure. September 6th, 2025 is going to feel like September 11th, 2001 for Texas State fans. Oh, let's not use an American tragedy. Yeah, let's refrain if we can. Which do you like more, Nike all white unis or the Adidas all black? I mean, that's completely different. I prefer Nike over Adidas any day. I'm just tell you that straight up. The Nike all whites look fine. They're not bad. I didn't like them at all at first, but like it's starting to grow on me. I don't care, to be honest. I honestly don't care. Like I cared for a while, but like now that the season is here and they still haven't done like a. I've been waiting on them to do. What's crazy about this is they haven't done a formal uniform launch, right? Right? Like, did anybody see that, or am I just tripping? I have not seen a formal uniform launch. I don't know. Why not? 49-10. Okay. Did y'all just as bad as Texas? I'm assuming he's trying to say beat y'all just as bad as Texas did. Okay. After 1 week, or after week 1, UTSA and Texas State will both be 0-1, but Texas State will be 0-1 because they're no good. Yeah, see, don't let the Texas State fans get y'all off kilter, bro. Okay, Mark Brown says, what would you think if Eric Sosa was ever head coach? Shout out to Sosa, man. Shout out to Sosa. I am not very active in our group chat, but Sosa is he's relatively active. So anyway, yeah, it'd be dope, man. It'd be dope. Listen, he's doing a lot of great things on the high school level right now. And yeah, I'm sure at some point he'll probably go up to the college level or something. That'd be crazy though. That'd be crazy if Sosa was the head coach at some point in the future. That'd be crazy. Mr. Meep says we finna upset A&M fam 100. I hope so. I sure do hope so. JC says what do you tell the team on the bus ride home? What do you tell the team on the bus ride home? It depends on the result of the game. Like the game has to be played. You know, like the game has to be played. If you win the game, you say, hey, we can. If UTSA goes in and pulls off an upset, the first thing a coach should be saying, you know what, scratch all of that. On any bus ride home, the coach's message should be one game at a time. That game's in the past, whether you win or lose, one game at a time. Win the next one. Win the next one. Win the next one. That's it. That's it. So yeah. Mr. Meek, it will take less effort to beat A&M than it did to lose versus Tulsa last year. I swear we were trying to lose that. Yeah, dude. I was watching just in preparation for this week and just in preparation in general to get my mind back into the game, or just back into the realm of football. I was watching some of the games and like, yo, the Tulsa game hurt me. The Rice game's crazy. Some of the games we lost last season was just like, what are you doing, bro? What are you doing? But it's a new year. It's a new year and it got new beginnings. David says, birds up. Shout out to David. My brother is here. Okay. So what is your score prediction, Mr. Derek? Yes, I'm actually glad you brought this in. My score prediction, I'm gonna go 38-24 A&M. That's what the score will probably be. Yeah, that's what I hope. And I know that's a closer game than people think, but I really do think UTSA's offense is going to have some success. I think our defense will have some growing pains, and I think we'll see that theme throughout the season. But 38-24 is where I'm at. I expect it to be respectable, and I think it's going to be an interesting game. I do think UTSA's offense has got a lot to offer. I expect Owen McCown to take a step in the right direction. He has to level his game up for UTSA. I mean, listen, here's the cool thing about UTSA nowadays. They are talking about how disappointing last season was because we won 7 games. I've heard Coach Traylor say that multiple times. I've heard Owen McCown talk about that. So if you go up from there, you got to be talking title, right? You got to be talking title. And I think offensively, we should have one of the top offensive, if not the top offense in the American. And if the defense can be opportunistic and they can capitalize and take the ball away, we'll be able to make some noise. What's funny is some folks, I'm not going this far necessarily, but there's a lot of folks who are like, we're sleeper pick for the playoff or whatever. I don't know about that, but what I'll say is some of our more tougher games, excluding the season opener, obviously, our tougher games are at home. And if we can take care of business against teams that we should beat on the road, the sky's the limit for the season. I really feel like that. The sky's the limit for the season. But, you know, the rubber got to meet the road. That's what we're going to see. McCown has to actually take that step forward. Offensively, I do expect us to be good, but we do gotta develop a more consistent downfield target. Our consistent downfield target can't be 11 drops again. Like I said, no offense to the kid at all. I think he's talented actually, but we can't have one of our top targeted people have that many drops because some of those drops have been situationally, and we dropping balls on 4th down and 3rd down. We did that so consistently last year. It cannot happen. It cannot happen. So, okay, me and David had the same score prediction. David says, "Do we know why UTSA versus Texas State didn't get selected for linear coverage?" No idea. I didn't even know that because I'm going down there. Oh, by the way, I will be at the Texas State game, so I hope to see all of you folks there at the tailgates. I'm also going to pop over to the charity bar that's like right across the street from the Alamo Dome. Just working out the logistics on like when and what that's going to look like, but I'm going to do something with them over there. And then I will also be doing something later. Hopefully we're celebrating a victory, but I do want to, I'm still working out the logistics, but I am going to do something later that night of the Texas State game as well. So yeah, I'll be in San Antonio on that Saturday for the whole day. So I'm hoping I get to hang out with a lot of y'all and see everybody out there. We're gonna wrap up these last few. Mike says, "Let's go! It all starts. Yeah, man, let's go. It all starts this weekend, 100%. Like I'm excited. It's another season we're here." Bernard McEwen says McEwen will have 2 TDs and 100 yards. I sure hope so. He's talented enough to do that. Like I said, him I'm not worried about. Amador I'm not worried about. But who's stretching the field, who's going to open up space for those two, for McEwen and Amador. Who's going to open up space? You need a vertical threat. Let them cook in the intermediate and underneath, and let them cook, after the catch up screens and things like that. Because those are the type, they're really good at that. They're top college players, in my opinion, at that, McEwen and Amador. But is there somebody that's going to be able to take the top off the defense? Because if not, it's going to make McEwen's job harder. It's going to make Amador jobs harder. It's going to make the running back's life a lot more difficult, and it's going to make McCown's job a lot more difficult. Twain says, any insights on the depth chart? Redshirt freshman Will Anderson as one of the running backs is interesting. Yeah, I mean, it's one of the things I was talking about. One of the things I was talking about earlier with that is, I think the speed is what is sticking out. So that part of it is interesting, and I'm interested to see what situations are they going to choose, or what situations are going to be for certain players. I've been a bigger proponent of, like, let's not make the running back rotation so, like, I don't want to see 5 running backs getting touches. I'm sorry, I just don't. Like, 2 should get the main touches, and then you have maybe a third to come in here and there. But, like, I don't want to see a ton of. We got a new running back coach, so we'll see how he manages that. But I do think it's nice to have 2 guys with speed, because when lanes are created, they're gonna take the ball to the crib. Like I said, nobody's catching Will Anderson Jr. Nobody's catching Robert Henry Jr. Or is Will Henderson the second? Did I call him Will Anderson? I might have called him Will Anderson. Anyway, y'all get what I'm trying to say. I like the fact that we're having the speed. The speed's going to be a difference maker. So, and like I said, you never know. Like, if A&M cuts one of those guys loose, could you imagine one of them guys taking the 70? Oh my God, that'd be crazy. Anyway, appreciate y'all for being here, man. I'm finna wrap it up. It's go time. Make sure you guys come back here. Make sure you like the video if you enjoyed this. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. I will be doing a post-show, a live reaction right after the game to talk about what we saw. But yeah, make sure you guys are here. I appreciate you guys for being. Make sure you guys are here next week, or not next week, this weekend and next week. Lisa Campos will be on the show. And yeah, birds up. I'll see y'all soon.